Hello everyone and welcome to the video. I'm John, and in this adventure we're going to be revisiting the story of the Lovelock Giants, a race of giant people that supposedly lived here long ago. But before we get into the video, be sure to hit that like button so YouTube shares this video, and let's get into the adventure. I've done a video on this before, but today we'll cover some new evidence that I didn't cover in the last video. But first, what's up with the story of these giants and are they real? This story was first made famous in the 1920s when archaeologists exploring this cave kept pulling out tons and tons of artifacts and over 60 average-sized Native American skeletons. And at least one skeleton for sure was 6 feet 6 inches tall. There were stories back then that some of these giants reached up to be 12 feet tall, but today the remains of those skeletons are nowhere to be found. In fact, none of the remains that were found in that skeleton are anywhere to be found because they've been scattered to different museums and different back rooms all over the country. So I talked to the curator of the Nevada History Museum for almost an hour, and we talked about skeletons, about Nevada history, and about the museum bureaucracy that protects these artifacts. The curator was pretty adamant about the stories of giant skeletons were not true and that the biggest one to be found was 6 feet 6 inches tall. But what she did say is that these skeletons were really robust, a lot more robust than the Native American skeletons, and you can see that here in this skull, which could have been considered a giant for those times. Today we are at the mouth of the Lovelock Cave, which is said to... Yeah. This flashlight doesn't do much good. But so this is where the giants would have hidden. Now, possibly this cave was a lot deeper back then, or maybe they were able to, there was like deeper caverns and they covered them up, or maybe the caverns were covered by earthquakes over time. It's hard to see. I've been down there. You could check out my other video. I'm not going to walk down there today. It just basically goes just like this here. It just goes to where the dirt seems to meet the rock, and there seems to be some like slight cracks. But yeah, there's some kind of black stuff here. I forget what it is. If someone knows what that stuff is, write it in the comments. Let's see, maybe things like this, where it may have been filled in with a bunch of rocks and different things. I'm sorry, there we go. It's just kind of more of that, where possibly you could slip through a narrow way and then it opens up into a much larger way. Maybe it was filled in on purpose because they didn't want anybody to find or go down there. But yeah, see, that goes in there deep. That goes in there really deep. I don't want to disturb too many things around here, so it's possible. I think it's definitely possible. I mean, if we're talking, I'm 6'1", so if we're talking just a little bit bigger than me, or just, you know, some robust people, it's possible that this goes deeper. Where exactly were the skeletons found, you know? Oops. But anyways, I wanted to show you that, and yeah. So, what's the story according to the Paiute tribe? In 1883, Mary Winnemucca, the granddaughter of the last great Paiute chief, wrote a book describing the life of her tribe as Americans colonized the West. In part of her book, she details the stories of the red-haired giants, and it goes like this.
Among the traditions of our people is one of a small tribe of barbarians who used to live along the Humboldt River. It was many hundred years ago. They used to waylay my people and kill them and eat them. They would dig large holes in our trails at night, and if any of our people traveled at night, which they did, for they were afraid of these barbarous people, they would oftentimes fall into these holes. That tribe would eat their own dead. Yes, they would even come and dig up our dead after they were buried, and would carry them off and eat them. Now and then, they would come and make war on my people. They would fight, and as fast as they killed one another on either side, the woman would carry off those who were killed. My people say they were very brave. When they were fighting, they would jump in the air after the arrows that went over their heads, and shoot the same arrows back again. My people took some of them into their families, but they could not make them like themselves. So at last they made war on them. This war lasted a long time. Their number was about 2,600. The war lasted about 3 years. My people killed them in great numbers, and what few were left went into the thick bush. My people set the bush on fire. This was right above Humboldt Lake. Then they went to work and made tule or bulrush boats and went into the Humboldt Lake. They could not live there very long without fire. They were nearly starving. My people were watching them all around the lake and would kill them as fast as they would come on land. At last, one night, they all landed on the east side of the lake and went into a cave near the mountains. It was a most horrible place, for my people watched at the mouth of the cave and would kill them as they came out to get water. My people asked them if they would be like us and not eat people like coyotes or beasts. They talked the same language, but they would not give up. At last, my people were tired, and they went to work and gathered wood, and began to fill up the mouth of the cave. And the poor fools began to pull the wood inside until the cave was full. At last, my people set it on fire. At the same time, they cried out to them, "Will you give up and be like men and not eat people like beasts? Say quick, and we will put out the fire." No answer came from them. My people said they thought the cave must be very deep or far into the mountains. They had never seen a cave nor known it was there until then. They called out to them as loud as they could, "Will you give up? Say so, or you will die." But no answer came. Then they all left the place. In 10 days, some went back to see if the fire had gone out. They went back to my 3rd or 5th great-grandfather and told them they must all be dead. There was such a horrible smell. This tribe was called the People Eaters. And after my people had killed them, the people around us called us Sedu Kara, which means conqueror. It also means enemy. My people say that the tribe we exterminated had reddish hair. I have some of their hair, which has been handed down from father to son. I have a dress which has been in our family for many years, trimmed with this reddish hair.
Alrighty guys, so we're gonna leave the cave now. Let's go to the Nevada History Museum and take a look at what they say are giants sandals. Sandals that belong to giants. They were basically a moccasin. So let's go take a look at that now. What's going on, guys? So we are here at the Nevada State Museum in the Native American section, the Paiute section, because that's the native tribes that was here in northern Nevada. And behind me, this talks about the Saiduka and the Lovelock Giants. And this is basically everything that I just told you about the giants. Over here you can see some of the artifacts. Right there, that's a giant pestle. Some people want to say that was used by the giants, but it also could have just been for making a mass amount of flour for their, the things that they would eat. Here's some more arrowheads and such. But what I came here to show you was these sandals. So let's go take a look at the sandals display of these ancient Native American sandals that they found. Alrighty guys, so right behind me are the sandals that were found. This one was found in the Winnemucca Lake. These two were found in the Lovelock Caves. So let's talk a little bit about these 3 sandals.
Alrighty guys, so these are the sandals that were found in Lovelock Cave. The one on the left, as you can see, the one on the left, they have a large footprint behind it. That is a model of the Bigfoot footprint that they took up in Washington. I think that was a kind of a joke played by the museum curators. Now they say the one on the right is 9.5, the one in the middle is 9 1/3, and they say the one on the left, if made full, would be a size 29, and Shaq wears a size 22, just to give you some reference, so that this person would have been a very tall person if this sandal was made whole. Now, look at this older picture of a sandal. Where is this sandal? Because this sandal is a very large sandal and it's still intact. and then you'll see the one on the right is the most intact. It looks similar to that one with the ties on the top. It's hard to tell how big that sandal might have actually been. Also, me holding my shoe up to this size, they're almost the same size shoe. Mine looks a little bit bigger because it's above the glass about an inch, but I wear a size 11. So I'm not sure if I agree with these sizes. Maybe they're just talking about the insole of the shoe, but to me they look a little bit bigger. But that's what I think. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment. Alrighty guys, so that's the end of the video. I hope you liked it. Please hit the like button if you did, and please let me know what you think down in the comments, and I will see you guys out there in the next adventure.